The Horn of Africa stands as a region of immense strategic importance, marked by a turbulent history and complex geopolitical dynamics. Recent events have once again thrust the region into the spotlight, raising concerns about the fragility of peace and the potential for renewed conflict. At the heart of these tensions lies the strained relationship between Ethiopia and Eritrea, two nations bound by a shared border and a history marked by both cooperation and conflict. The 2019 peace agreement between Ethiopia and Eritrea, hailed as a historic breakthrough, now appears increasingly tenuous. Eritrea's recent military mobilization and the deployment of Ethiopian troops near their shared border have fueled anxieties about a potential return to hostilities. Despite these worrying developments, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has consistently emphasized his government's commitment to peaceful dialogue and conflict resolution. Abiy's stance reflects a recognition that renewed conflict would have devastating consequences for both nations, undermining the hard-won progress made in recent years. The situation is further complicated by conflicting narratives emerging from both sides. Ethiopian and Eritrean media outlets have traded accusations, each blaming the other for instigating tensions and violating the peace agreement. This information war only serves to heighten mistrust and exacerbate existing divisions. Adding to the complexity is the potential for external actors, such as Iran and Russia, to exploit the instability for their own strategic gain. The international community has expressed growing concern over the escalating tensions between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Diplomatic efforts are underway to encourage both sides to exercise restraint, prioritize dialogue, and uphold the terms of the 2019 peace agreement. The African Union, in particular, has a crucial role to play in mediating the dispute and facilitating a peaceful resolution. The stakes are high, as a return to conflict would not only devastate both nations, but also send shockwaves throughout the volatile Horn of Africa region. The resurgence of piracy off Somalia's coast presents another pressing challenge to stability and security in the Horn of Africa. Once a scourge of international shipping lanes, piracy had declined significantly in recent years due to coordinated international naval patrols and capacity-building efforts in Somalia. However, recent incidents including the hijacking of a Yemeni fishing vessel near Isle serve as stark reminders that the threat of piracy has not been eradicated. The resurgence of Somali piracy is deeply intertwined with the broader instability plaguing the region. Conflicts in neighboring Yemen and Gaza have spilled over into Somali waters, disrupting maritime security efforts and creating opportunities for criminal networks to exploit. Moreover, the ongoing political and economic challenges within Somalia itself, including the persistent threat posed by al-Shabab, have hampered the government's ability to effectively patrol its vast coastline and combat piracy. The international community has a vested interest in addressing the root causes of Somali piracy and supporting the Somali government's efforts to secure its maritime domain. This includes strengthening Somalia's naval capabilities, enhancing regional cooperation on maritime security, and addressing the underlying political and economic grievances that fuel instability and create fertile ground for criminal activity. Failure to do so risks jeopardizing the hard-won gains made against piracy and further destabilizing an already volatile region. Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation, faces a multitude of internal challenges that threaten to unravel the fragile peace and stability it has painstakingly sought to build. The Tigray region, in particular, has become a focal point of renewed conflict and instability, raising fears of a return to the devastating civil war that gripped the region from 2020 to 2022. Factional fighting between the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, and the Ethiopian government has escalated in recent months, with both sides accusing the other of violating the terms of the 2022 ceasefire agreement. The recent seizure of parts of Mekelle and Adigrat by a dissident TPLF faction has heightened anxieties about a potential descent back into full-blown civil war. The involvement of Eritrean forces in support of the Ethiopian government further complicates the situation, raising the specter of a wider regional conflict. The humanitarian consequences of renewed fighting in Tigray would be catastrophic, potentially displacing millions and exacerbating the already dire humanitarian crisis in the region. Addressing the root causes of the Tigray conflict is essential to achieving a lasting peace in Ethiopia. This includes addressing the legitimate grievances of the Tigrayan people, ensuring their full participation in the political process, and holding all parties accountable for human rights abuses and violations of international law. The international community must use its leverage to press for a peaceful resolution to the conflict, provide humanitarian assistance to those in need, and support efforts to promote reconciliation and accountability. Somalia continues to grapple with the enduring threat posed by al-Shabab, the al-Qaeda-linked Islamist insurgency that has plagued the country for over a decade. Despite ongoing military operations by the Somali government and its international partners, al-Shabab remains a potent force, capable of carrying out deadly attacks and undermining stability in Somalia and the wider region. The recent attack on President Mohammed's convoy in Mogadishu, claimed by al-Shabab, is a stark reminder of the group's reach and ability to strike at the heart of the Somali government. Al-Shabab's resilience is rooted in a complex interplay of factors, including the group's ability to exploit local grievances, the weakness of state institutions, and the continued flow of foreign fighters and financing. Addressing the threat posed by al-Shabab requires a comprehensive approach that goes beyond military operations to address the underlying political, economic, and social factors that contribute to the group's survival. The international community plays a vital role in supporting Somalia's fight against al-Shabab. This includes providing security assistance, supporting the development of effective and accountable security forces, and addressing the humanitarian crisis that fuels instability and creates opportunities for extremist groups to exploit. A stable and secure Somalia is essential not only for the well-being of the Somali people, but also for the stability of the wider Horn of Africa region.